Well, happy Tuesday night, Luke Reimers to my right. I am Zach Bruner, and we are here to just talk about some fantasy football waiver wire ad drops. I don't think there's a lot of guys who are must drops at this point in the season, but there are certainly some players you need to add. I feel like the first few weeks every single season, you're going to pick up a league winner. If you feel like you just sit on your team and you don't make any moves, I feel like that. I don't know, Luke, in your opinion, like, it's at least my opinion. Like, that's when leagues are won or lost. I feel like every year somebody picks up someone for like the long term who's insanely good.
Right, and that's kind of the key, right? I think a lot of people missed out on someone like Cordero Patterson last year because they wanted to take the wait and see approach. And by that time that happened, he's long gone. So yeah, Zach, you're right. I think a huge key in fantasy football is getting the guy who's going to produce for the rest of the year in the first waiver wire of the year, which can be a very difficult thing to do.
Very difficult. And yeah, speaking of Cordell Patterson, like from my memory, I think in PPR he was RB6 last year, something like that. And this year, I think a lot of people ranked him in like the 40s. And he's like, I think we talked about it on Wednesday. Like, stop doubting him because he's going to
Right.
keep doing this shit. And he had 100 yards against the Saints, who everyone thought was one of the best run defenses in the NFL. So, like, I'm using sleeper ownership percentage, sleeper fantasy ownership percentage, which apparently is way, 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 way different than everybody else
Hmm.
in the industry. I'm not sure why, but according to Sleeper, and again, I don't think this is correct, but it says Cordero Patterson is rostered in 16% of leagues. One
That can,
six
that can't be right.
cannot be correct, but certainly go out and look, especially if you're in like a 10-team league, go look
Yeah,
because
for
he
sure.
could be out there. Like I took a couple straw polls here to compare a couple of other guys just to compare sleeper fantasy to other platforms. Like Kenyon Drake apparently is owned in 83% of leagues on Sleeper, according to Sleeper, and then 31% I think is ESPN. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't trust Sleeper's fantasy data.
Mm-mm.
I think it's Sleeper who's wrong.
I would agree.
Yeah. So weird, but pretty much all my leagues are there. So if we are talking ownership percentages, I can't really help you. But let's just jump around positions. And if you jump into the stream here, if you're on Twitter watching this, you have to head over to YouTube or click into the actual video to chat for us to actually see your questions. But if anyone wants to drop questions the entire time, we're pretty much just here to hang out, talk about fantasy football, talk about who could be, that league winner to pick up this week. And the big quarterback news, obviously, of the week was the Dak Prescott injury.
Yep.
And we have super differing reports now. Like the initial report, the secondary report, the tertiary report was Dak Prescott is going to be out, 2 months essentially. And it seemed to line up perfectly with he is going to come back at their bye week, which is week 9. He would return week 10 against the Packers. But then Jerry Jones today doesn't put him on the IR, which means he thinks he's going to return within 4 weeks. So, one, first off, as a Dak Prescott owner, I'm pissed off because I can't put him in my IR slot. And two, like, man, we have to hang on to him now, right?
Yep.
But then the flip side is, could we see a Russell Wilson situation where he returns too early because Uncle Jerry tells him to, and he just is bad?
Yeah, I mean both those conclusions are possible. That you have to drop him or you have to hold on to him and he doesn't come back good at all. But there's also the idea that he does come back in 4 weeks and he's a stellar quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know what the specific injury was. It was something to the joint above his thumb, which had to have surgery. So what that would be, I guess I really don't know. But the fact that he could be returning in within 4 weeks is interesting. I'm just bringing up the Cowboys schedule right now. And first off, I don't drop Dak Prescott. obviously. Try to finagle your bench around so you can hold two quarterbacks essentially, unfortunately. So if he comes back in 4 weeks exactly, he would be returning. If it was week 8, it would be at the Rams. Week 6 is at the Eagles, which I guess are important games. You
I
know, if
guess, yeah.
like I that would be the only thing. Like they're important games. I don't want to start him against either of those two teams though.
God, no.
And then
God,
right
no.
after it is the Lions and the Bears, which is so if he return if like they're rushing him back to return against the Eagles, why wouldn't you keep him out for the Lions and the Bears? Because you should be able to beat the Lions and the Bears.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's super annoying. I don't see how he's not out until week 10, but you
It's a
would
weird
assume that
injury.
it's a weird injury, and you would assume they would finagle it. They would list him in the IR so they could pick somebody else up, but apparently not. Um, Question on Twitch here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. My eyes are going like cross-eyed from no sleep. I'm going to put it on the screen. Actually, so is it worth selling Michael Thomas and James Robinson for AJ Brown? James Robinson is his RB4, Michael Thomas, wide receiver 2. So losing a bench piece to upgrade at wide receiver. My question to you would be, Luke, if you got to see the Saints play and got to see Michael Thomas in week 1, how much of an upgrade do you think AJ Brown is from Michael Thomas?
Is he an upgrade at all?
I think he is a little bit, but I don't think it's much.
Yeah. I just don't trust Jalen Hurts to get the ball to AJ Brown.
No, yeah, I for sure I don't trust that. Like he had a career day.
Yeah.
It
He
was
did.
it was a career best day. I just personally like just my mindset is I would not trade for someone coming off a career best day. Like I'm not paying top dollar for anybody. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm in the same boat with you. This trade, though, is something that we kind of talk about a little bit. Where if you want to upgrade, maybe add a bench piece. Obviously, it seems like here is the James Robinson. This is the idea. If you want to upgrade one position using that same position.
Hmm.
I honestly I don't hate the trade either way.
Agreed.
I think it works out either way. But it's still, if gun to my head, I think I just after week 1 alone, I think I want Michael Thomas.
I think I do as well. And just bringing up snap counts. So James Robinson played 34 snaps to Travis Etienne's 36. So like James Robinson's a valuable piece. And if the Jaguars can get a rhythm going offensively, if they can improve throughout the year, which I think they will be able to,
Agreed.
like he's going to fall into the end zone.
Yep.
So like I think he's going to have better days. So I feel like you would be selling him on a low and you would be purchasing a player on a high, which I don't like.
So their follow up question is there a guy that you would
I
maybe
would
a range of guys?
Yeah, so we're talking upgrading that wide receiver 2 from Michael Thomas to hmm I
Hmm.
would like, would you do it for, and I guess a lot of people would consider him a wide receiver 1, so it's a tough sell, but for someone like Mike Evans,
Yeah, for sure. We always talk about how none of the three of us like Mike Evans due to injuries or inconsistency or whatever. But there is I mean, Brady goes to Evans.
yeah,
Whether
yeah,
he's so when Mike Evans is on the field, he's going to get passes. If you can get Mike Evans, I'd absolutely love that. And he said Mike Evans' injuries scare me. That's what we say all the time. But when he's on the field, he does produce.
right, and I mean, I guess the counterpoint would be, does Michael Thomas's injury scare you? Because like I guess they scare me. It's the first time we've seen him since what 2011 or so. Like it's
Yeah,
been
feels like
forever.
it.
Yeah. So um that was just a name. Like I would be shooting high for somebody like that. Maybe someone who
Would you do
did.
A Terry McLaurin, or is that too high, too low?
I think it's too low.
Okay.
I would rather have Michael
Yeah,
Thomas.
yeah, I think
This
so.
this week the Saints play the Buccaneers. So, not the easiest game, obviously. I would still ride it. I want him to, because I think he's going to be a big part of that offense. I think he can repeat.
Yeah, I do. I do too. Like he's a part of this offense.
He's a big part of the offense. We just said James Robinson's a big part of the offense going up against the Colts next week. And then, so I think we can get better performances from James Robinson. I think we'll get a worse performance from A.J. Brown going up against the Vikings next week. So I would wait. But
he traded Terry McLaurin for Michael Thomas.
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I think jumping around, DeAndre Swift. Hey, he is back. Thank you for joining us again. He just did a trade, which is he traded Leonard Fournette. A lot of players. Leonard Fournette, Deebo Samuel, Darnell. Henderson, Cordell Patterson for Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Gabe Davis. I like it. I think I like
I love
that.
it. I love it.
I do too. Gabe Davis, man. I was lower on him coming into the season. I still think I'm right.
I think you are too.
But he looked good.
He looked great.
On Thursday. He looked really good.
Although the Rams did.
What was that? You cut out for me.
The Rams did look bad.
They sure did. They looked very bad. Top cornerbacks looked bad this week.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jair Alexander looked bad. We saw Jalen Ramsey look bad. Others that I can't think of right now, I'm sure looked bad. Yeah.
There's a lot of bad football this week.
Yeah. Really bad. But yeah, I guess in short, I think he won that trade. Right?
Yep.
I love getting Mark Andrews in that trade.
Yep.
I've
correct.
come
Sauce
full
Gardner
circle
did play
on him.
well. Sauce Gardner is the top corner in the league.
Fair enough. He did play well.
Top
James
corner
Bradbury. I mean, he did cover the Lions very well. Congrats.
I need to talk to you about college football for a second.
Okay.
I forgot this popped in my mind when I was watching. So I don't watch a lot of college football. I watched that Alabama-Texas game, which was an awesome game, by the way.
Yeah.
Alabama's running back, Gibbs.
Gibbs.
That guy's a stud.
Both running backs in that game, very good. Because Robinson or whatever on the other side.
Yeah, I want Gibbs on Green Bay.
Fine. Wide receiver? Could he play that?
Sure.
I don't care. I agree. He needs to be. Yeah, I like him a lot. There's a lot of good running backs, I think, coming into the draft next year.
Perfect.
Which is so. Doesn't it feel like it's like there's not enough room?
No. There's too many running backs in the NFL.
Yeah. Way too many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weird. We could move. I mean, at this point, Dylan and Jones are both upgrades. So yes. What's up, Hunter? Let's quickly shift back to quarterback here. I wrote down some names who I like. Beecham did have some struggles, but yeah. Alabama's the real deal.
They are always.
4 quarterbacks. Again, I have sleeper fantasies, ownership percentage. I don't trust it, but go and look at these guys. Carson Wentz looked good, and I think he's going to continue to be a good fantasy producer. I think he's going to be up and down, but I think he's going to be a good producer for fantasy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He plays the Lions this week. In Sleeper, according to Sleeper, supposedly he's owned in 24% of leagues. So at least look at that. Again, Kirk Cousins as well apparently is only owned in 55% of leagues. He needs to be owned, especially like that passing offense is too good.
Correct.
And he plays the Eagles this week. I think the Eagles are a good team, but like they're not going to run the ball, and the Eagles are going to throw the ball. So I like him. Geno Smith apparently is owned in like 0% of leagues, it said.
It's worth a look right there. Yep.
Yeah. Next 3 weeks, he plays the 49ers this week, which I don't love. But then he plays the Falcons and the Lions after that. So I like that. And then Marcus Mariota is only owned in about 2% of leagues. He ran for like 70-something yards this past week, which is great. So if the passing offense turns around, then that's all we need, I think. Yep. I like Mariota a lot.
Yeah, he would probably be my number one out of those 4 that you listed, just for the legs alone.
And if you aren't a Flurry Sports podcast listener, we went deep into Marcus Mariota last week. The dude is
Mhm.
28 years old. He's my
Wild.
age. It's weird.
Right. He's been in the
It's
league for 18 years.
yes. We're looking at people who are older than him. It's like that's not okay. That's
Right.
weird. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's super young.
Go
Um
back people should go back and watch Marcus Mariota Oregon highlights. Those are awesome.
yeah, he was very good. Very good. Hunter wants to know. So start Darnell Mooney, Dodson, Damian Pierce, Najee Harris at flex. Watch the practice reports, I suppose. I would still default to Najee
Mhm.
if he is healthy. Steelers play Patriots though.
New England. Yep.
Um
I think it's
rankings come
still
out tomorrow, just so you know. But yeah, continue.
I I think I'd start Najee Harris and anyway with these 4 players.
I will say like Mooney's gonna have 100 yards and a touchdown against the Packers, right?
Yeah, he'd probably just be wide open over the middle of the field somewhere.
Yeah, he would be my number two if Najee's limited all week. I think I would go Mooney.
Do you Are you taking any stock into Jahan Dotson last week?
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be involved. I just think it's going to be inconsistent with all of those wide receivers.
Yeah. I think
Like we
those
just
wide receivers kind of go how Carson Wentz goes, right?
exactly. I was just going to
Yeah.
say we just talked about Carson Wentz is up and down. They'll be up and down, and they're all sort of they're not all the same level, but they also kind of are. There's like no
Yep.
true like this is the guy and these
Right.
guys are supporting cast. Because like Logan Thomas, I think got 6 targets last week too and didn't do much with it, and he's going to be involved.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Washington plays Detroit,
Yep.
and Detroit's favored.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it.
A lot of Speaking of favorite, a lot of home dogs won last week. There's a lot of home dogs um for a week in general, and it feels like they almost all of them won.
Yeah, the rule of thumb for anyone wondering next year, if there's a home dog in a divisional game, you
Take 'em.
always bet them. They win almost every time. But yeah, just in general. Yeah, fucking Seattle, man. I'm still like I don't get it.
A great win for Seattle.
Great win. Did you read the ESPN report on Russell Wilson?
No.
Go and read it. You'll enjoy it. As
Okay.
a Russell
Eviscerate
Wilson,
him.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
That
they did a deep dive. I dislike ESPN, but they did a good job on this to the point where Super Bowl didn't hand it to Marshawn Lynch. It
Mhm.
was a Russell Wilson audible.
Yeah.
But Pete Carroll kept saying it was his fault.
Took the fall.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine how good that's gotta feel, like, walking into the locker room in training camp and not having Russell Wilson in there.
Everybody hated him, dude.
It's
And
wild.
how can you not? The dude's
Right,
annoying as hell. If
right.
you have him talking nonstop and you lose, it's a nightmare. It's
Yep.
an absolute nightmare. DeAndre Swift. Still in on A-Rod last year. Packers did terrible in week one. Common overreaction. Completely agree. The only difference is, I mean, there's a lot wrong.
Yeah.
And
It
it
feels like
wasn't
there's more wrong in this game than there was against the Saints. But this was also such a winnable game.
very. That's the issue.
Yep.
The Saints game was literally nothing went right
Mm-mm.
and everything was off rhythm. Everything was weird. This game was just mistakes
Mhm.
and everything mental mistake, everything poor decision.
Nobody looked like they gave a fuck.
No, except for Aaron Rodgers, who
Mhm.
was fucking screaming
Mhm.
the entire time. He is no longer Zen Aaron Rodgers. He cut his hippie hair. He's pissed, and rightfully so. Let's rate Hunter's team. 10-team PPR. He's got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, AJ Dillon, Justin Jefferson, Najee Harris, Jalen Waddle, Daniel Carlson, Steelers defense, Trey Lance, Pierce, Mooney, Dodson, Allen, Chargers defense on his bench.
10.
Good. Yeah, very good team. Hopefully Najee can get healthy for you. Well,
Mhm.
Keenan Allen as well, I guess. But yeah, very good team.
10. I would
Yep.
look. Yep. Never mind. 10.
I yeah. I'm just trying to trying to figure out something to help him out. Who's his tight end league?
Love that.
Honestly, that's like very nice. If Trey Lance strings together a couple big weeks, like maybe you try to trade him and upgrade something else.
Running.
Just be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
maybe, but you don't need to. I like it.
I mean, I think the only upgrade here right now is obviously once Najee's healthy, get him in there for Dylan as running back too, and then upgrade from Saquon if you can.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to talk about. What's your opinion on Saquon? I think you were higher on him last week than me.
I my thoughts on Saquon coming into the year were like if any year felt like a Saquon year, it was this year.
Mhm.
He was healthy. They got new bodies on the offensive line, new coach. It almost feels kind of like a transition period for the Giants of being very bad to maybe just a little bit bad. Um, and I think it seems like the game plan is just let Saquon Barkley cook. I think Brian Dable's in on that, and I mean, it got the Giants a win, something they don't get a lot of. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
imagine that Saquon Barkley gets shoved to the wayside anytime soon.
If you are a Saquon Barkley owner, though, and he
Which
just
I
had a really big week, are you looking to sell high or are you just going to ride it out?
Oh yeah, I'm looking to sell high all the time on Saquon Barkley. I know I just said that like he's going to be involved, but we've seen him be involved the last 2 years, and injuries are there. Teams put 8 guys in the box, and the Giants can't move the ball. I think
Mhm.
Saquon Barkley he's only been in the league 4 years. He's got really 1.5 good years. He's got enough name recognition that you can definitely upgrade to. I don't even know. Maybe you can snake a Joe Mixon or something out of there with him.
Maybe a Najee Harris with people are that
Yeah.
scared on the injury. Obviously, this team it doesn't matter, but yeah.
Yep.
Um, I agree with you. For me, Saquon Barkley is just like he's like Christian McCaffrey, where I don't think he's a bad player. Obviously,
Hmm.
I think he's a great player. I think the Giants did good to upgrade their offensive line. I think they did a really good job. It's just when's his body going to give out? And that's it. Like I think his role is solidified. I think he's going to be super involved. And I like the Giants. They were my Bengals pick for this year. Like if someone's going to go from rags to riches, I think it's them because of Wink Martindale at defensive coordinator, and I think they have the weapons on offense. So
Yep. Yep. I
and
don't disagree.
Hunter, by the way, had Dalton Schultz at tight end. So
Oh,
very good team.
perfect. Yep.
Isaac asks, should I trade Aaron Jones for Kyle Pitts and Amon-Ra St. Brown? He has AJ Dillon.
I don't think
Um,
so.
I mean, context matters.
Yeah,
So
of course, right, yeah.
yeah, if you have no wide receivers or tight ends and you are good behind AJ Dillon, then I think sure. Otherwise, I like having both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because
In a vacuum, I would not do that trade.
agree. I think we're both lower on Kyle Pitts than everybody else too.
Yep. You missed one that I think you I know you had a tweet about it yesterday. Um, Elacia, whoever we were talking to before, they said I was going to pick up a quarterback we were talking about, but at Dak, but ended up trading Allen Robinson for Trey Lance, and I know you have a strong opinion about Trey Lance after week one.
I have a strong opinion on Allen Robinson after week one too. Allen Robinson's going to explode in week two. He was wide open all game. Like
Hmm.
anyone who looks at the box score at the end of the game was like, oh, it's Chicago 2021 Allen Robinson, and that was not the case. Like he tried, he was wide open the entire game. The Rams just need a block up front so Stafford can look his way. He
Yep.
just saw a white flash down the middle of the field and kept throwing it to Cooper Cup,
Hmm.
and rightfully so. But
By the way,
uh,
the Rams shouldn't be allowed to have more than one white receiver.
yeah, it's
It's too
like
confusing.
it's like 2010 New England Patriots or something.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I like both players. Trey Lance and Trey Lance, I'm biased. Saw him play in person. Knows coaches in North Dakota State. Love Trey Lance as a person. Love Trey Lance as a player. Hate Trey Lance's coach. I'm slowly developing. Like Kyle Shanahan ran Jimmy Garoppolo offense this week.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing anything to help Trey Lance. I feel like he's doing the whole pity party thing like he did with Trey Sermon last year. He didn't want Trey Sermon or Trey Lance to be drafted, and now he's pouting about it. It's a nightmare. It's really annoying. Should I trade Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, and Deontay Johnson for Kupp and Lenny?
I think, and Zach, maybe you might know this a little bit more than I do, but this is our second question on Aaron Jones. I think there's been a handful of games where Aaron Jones gets under 10 touches. And it feels like after almost every single game, Aaron Jones is a featured guy in the offense. I mean, if we look back to last year, week 1, Aaron Jones had like 10 carries and no reception, something crazy like that. And he came out and had 4 touchdowns the next game. Like Matt LaFleur is a guy who tries to learn from his mistakes and tries to put a huge emphasis on it. So I would guess that this week is going to be a huge Aaron Jones week. If that still doesn't, bite your fancy and you still don't know if you want to trade Aaron Jones, at least wait for then and get a better player because he's going to have trade value after week 2.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's a good call about him against the Bears this week, especially at home, Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Again, just talking about like how much of an upgrade is Leonard Fournette from Aaron Jones. I'm not sure of any. I like both players a lot. But then it's like Deontay Johnson's going to be a target whore in
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, and Mike Evans is a whore for Tom Brady. So, like, I like having both of those guys over Cooper Kupp. Like, you can play the matchups a little bit. Cooper Kupp's a stud, obviously, but I wouldn't do that trade.
I would not either.
Randy wants to know if Trevor is having a slice of cheesecake right now.
Guarantee
If
not.
only. Yeah, no, not that cool. He might be scouring Milwaukee for some cream cheese to put on a bagel and try that for the first time first. Dip his toe in the water. That last question, the other running back that they have is Austin Eckler. So that gives me even more reason, I think, to keep someone like Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Eckler. I mean, we've been talking about injuries all show. Austin Eckler is a poster child.
Yeah. Sure is. Let's talk about those running backs a little bit. The biggest injury was Elijah Mitchell playing in a foot of water in Chicago, out probably a couple of months. Obvious situation there. Kyle Shanahan's going to play his golden boy, Jeff Wilson Jr. Again, according to Sleeper Fantasy, he's owned in about 13% of leagues. He plays Seattle this week. I think he needs to be owned. I mean, if you're in a deeper league, you can take a look at the rookie, whatever his name is, Tyrion Davis, whatever. I think he's in line for something. Now, this is the guy I do want to talk about, though. Fuck Jeff Wilson.
Rowdy?
We're at the point. Who's Rowdy?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, who's at the point? We're at the point in the season already where we're talking about Rex Burkhead.
Stop.
He needs to be owned. He played 71% of the snaps last week.
He did. Yes, he probably does need to be owned.
Oh my god. He plays Denver this week, and he's probably going to have like 75 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's so annoying. He will not go away.
It sucks.
It's not fair. He always finds his way on my fantasy team, and it shouldn't be this early.
Right. Yeah, this is like a week 11 conversation we should be having, not a week 2.
I'm so confused. Rate Rowdy Tells out of a 1 to 10. Is that a person? I don't understand.
Baseball player.
Oh, that makes sense. Rate him, Luke.
10.
Who is he?
He's big fat first baseman for the Brewers. Hits home runs.
Is he as popular as that Vogel whatever dude was?
Vogelback? Yeah, he's more popular.
Is he? Okay.
Yep.
I'm on board then.
He kind of stole Vogelback's shine.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Caden, the Colts fan. Am I stupid to trade Cooper Kupp for DeAndre Swift and Gabriel Davis? No. Stupid for being a Colts fan.
Who's your running back 1?
Yeah. Again, yeah, context matters here. But even in a vacuum, like I know we're a little bit lower on Gabriel Davis, but at least I love DeAndre Swift. I assume you too.
I do.
So yeah, if you're good at wide receiver and you're cool with having a slight downgrade, then and you need running backs, then absolutely. It's again one of those things where you're trading for a guy on a big high of DeAndre Swift. So
Just to bring up DeAndre Swift, and maybe this ties in with waiver wire advice. Does Jamal Williams getting 2 touchdowns last week scare you at all? Being a DeAndre Swift owner,
no, because it wasn't surprising.
right?
Like my expectations were aligned where I knew Jamal Williams is going to have a big role. Like I don't think that was a fluke, and it wasn't a surprise to me. So is he an every week RB1 DeAndre Swift? No. I guess in that context, that's where my opinion would be,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
yeah, it does.
Does it scare you?
I don't think so because I think that DeAndre Swift is the guy that's going to be in the game when the Lions are down.
Yeah. Also, it wasn't a situation where like Jamal Williams is the goal line package.
Right.
It wasn't that. It was either he was already in the game and they were rolling, or DeAndre Swift had a big gain and he needed a breather. And that's when every fantasy manager was like, oh, you got vultured. It's like he
Hmm.
also couldn't breathe and he probably had Deuce Staley jumping on his chest on the sideline or something.
Hmm. You'll be happier that they didn't put him in now in the long run to get 6 early points in your season.
True. Randy wants to know if he should start Cam Akers this week.
I fucking fell into the trap that you and Trevor told me not to. I have like Cam
Yeah.
Akers in 3 leagues.
Yeah. Um, I think he's going to be a lot better this week. And the reason is, like, if you want to know why he didn't play last week, the dude can't pass protect
Hmm.
worth its shit. And the offensive line couldn't pass protect last week either against the Buffalo Bills. This week they play the Falcons. Falcons pass rush scares me a lot less. So I can only assume Cam Akers is going to play a lot more.
Yep.
Um, he still, though, isn't anything above a flex for me.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. To me, that Rams the performance was kind of like the Packers the last 2 years. Um, they just laid an egg.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that the Rams are that bad of a team, right? I don't think anyone on earth thinks that. So that team will be better. That team will have double-digit wins, and Cam Akers will be involved in those double-digit wins. So don't like drop Cam Akers or anything, but I mean,
No.
it's something to be cautious about. Like pass protection is huge. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think Cam Akers needs to be used in this offense. I think for it to work. So
Hmm.
yeah, I have no problem starting Cam Akers, like you said, Zach. If it's around that flex territory.
Right. Yeah. He's not the guy, I guess, his rookie year who was dominating everything towards the end, and everyone's like, oh, he's
Mhm.
finally arrived. It's still a hot hand approach there. And yeah, he's a situational back, unfortunately.
Which sucks because I'm sure everyone who drafted him in the third round.
Okay. So revisiting Caden, the Colts fans question again, is he stupid to trade Cooper Cup and Cooper Cup for DeAndre Swift, Gabriel Davis? He has Kamara, lost Elijah Mitchell, also has AJ Brown and DJ Moore.
So I'm sure his team would be if he did do the trade, be Kamara, DeAndre Swift, Brown, Davis, Moore.
Yep, which I like.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I think I would do it.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. Why not? Throw some spice into your fantasy football season early.
that's right. I agree. And
Fantasy football is always fun with trades.
it is. And you could just pick up Rex Burkhead and have a full party. You could also pick up Kenyon Drake has a revenge game this week. They
He
play
sure
the
does.
Dolphins. And I think he is the RB to own until J.K. Dobbins comes.
I would
So
agree, but are you happy with that?
no,
No, God no.
no.
I think it's all hands off Ravens running backs until J.K. Dobbins comes back.
Yeah, he's flex. He has flex potential in PPR, I would say. Um, it's a frustrating situation because like Mike Davis it has too much of that bitch in him. Like
Yep.
he's gonna have a big week at some point, probably once everybody's healthy and you feel like Mike Davis has finally gone away. Then he's gonna have a big game. But Kenyon Drake, I like. Again, he is someone Sleeper says he's owned in 83% of leagues. Another platform said he's owned in 31. I would assume he's closer to the 31. And then, really quick, before we jump into more questions, Brian Robinson, the rookie running back in Washington, should be coming back probably around week 5. Look to see if he's out there because I do think he's going to be that early down, short yardage guy. So he's a fine stash if you want.
Yep.
And then the RB2, as we've been saying since June for the Arizona Cardinals, is Eno Benjamin. You love to see Kyler Murray not get his way. Darrell Williams. I think it's
Darryl.
that one's Darrell. Yep. Darrell Williams, I don't think played a single snap.
Mm-mm.
And Eno Benjamin was fine. But he has value there.
Just talking about the Ravens running back situation. What last week they as a team against the Jets, they had 11, 6 at 17, 19, 21 rushes with Lamar Jackson taking 6 of them. And that's against the Jets. And you have to imagine Lamar Jackson's running usage is only going to go up as the season goes on.
You say that, I almost wonder because they didn't really call designed runs for him. And I almost wonder if it's like, until I get a new contract, don't make me fucking run the football.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so necessarily either, but also it's like, he doesn't want to take hits right now.
God, no.
So
he's stupid to.
Yeah, I
don't think the Ravens want him to take hits either.
No, I mean, they never do. But even still, like, I think I don't think we're going to see peak Lamar Jackson if he doesn't have a contract. Weirdly enough.
Lamar, come to Green Bay.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
I would be so happy. That would be quite the switch from anything Green Bay's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
That would be wild.
I've always said that after Rodgers retires, I want just a fun quarterback. Someone who, it's not going to win you games or, because, you're not going to get another Hall of Fame quarterback, but just someone that a team, we can rally around and have some fun with.
I agree. Bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Give him another season. Kane says, in a money league, a kid finessed a Giants fan, gave him Saquon for Christian McCaffrey, Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill. Good for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know your league mates and know who they like.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Woody the Badger. Should I drop Chris Olave or Melvin Gordon for Julio Jones full PPR?
I don't think that you should drop Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to ignore Melvin Gordon from this conversation.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't drop him either. It also depends on, again, we keep saying context in terms of positions, all that. Would you drop Chris Olave for Julio Jones?
I think I would. So just breaking it down, Julio Jones probably helps you more in the short term, but how much does that help when Chris Godwin comes back and the Buccaneers go on a run and sneak into the playoffs as a 5 seed?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I don't know how much Chris Olave is going to be involved in the offense because I didn't think Michael Thomas was going to be that involved until I saw week 1.
Right. I'm bringing up Saints snap counts because I know Olave didn't do insane or anything. I just want to see if he played as much as everybody else, and he did. He ended up playing 45 out of 61 snaps. That is 1 more than Jarvis Landry. That is 8 more than Michael Thomas. And he still didn't do a ton, if I recall.
Mm-mm.
Let me bring up his stats really quick. Where am I looking? Week 1. I think I would rather have Julio Jones, assuming this is your wide receiver 4 or 5. If it's, yeah, like I just don't know what the potential of Olave is this season to do anything consistent.
Yep.
Last week he had 3 catches for 41 yards on 3 targets.
It feels like there'll be a lot more 3 receptions for 42 yards than 8 receptions for 100 yards for Olave this year.
Right, and the whole thing about Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas their entire career is that they are target monsters.
They get open.
They get open. They're easy routes usually
Mhm.
for the quarterback to throw. So, yeah, I think I like that. I would rather have Julio. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into wide receivers here. Biggest news for wide receivers: Keenan Allen left hurt. I assume he is out Thursday. Not going to be playing against the Chiefs. Wide receiver 2 becomes Josh Palmer, even though he didn't really have that big of a game. Second year wide receiver, I like him quite a bit. Owned in about 8% of leagues, according to Sleeper. Definitely look at that. If you're desperate, go pick him up. If you're playing in DFS, take a look at him, especially after a lackluster week 1. I think he's super interesting. Yeah, I like him. Now let's talk about 3 wide receivers that actually excite me, though. First off, Luke.
Mhm.
Randall Cobb's playing the Bears on Sunday night.
Yep. That's a start in DFS if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. Owned in 26% of leagues right now. He always plays good against the Bears. Super deep leagues, pick him up and start him, I guess. Otherwise,
Mhm.
DFS for sure start him.
Yep.
Devin Duvernay. We talked about
Love
him
it.
Wednesday. I liked him a lot. I said he's going to be the wide receiver 2. He had a monster week. Owned in 2% of leagues. Pick up Devin Duvernay.
Put the waiver in right now.
Yeah. He needs to be owned. Again, he's a 3rd-round pick 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
people are acting like this is just one of like another nobody. Like people aren't really valuing him much over like James Proche or whatever on their team. Like Duvernay's a good player and
Been in
he's
the
super
offense.
quick. He's been in the offense. He fills the Marquise Brown role pretty nicely, even though it was Rashad Bateman who had that big touchdown catch.
Mhm.
Yeah, like he's going to be used. He
Yep.
needs to be used, honestly. And then we've talked about him a lot too. Curtis Samuel is back and he's finally healthy and he looked really good. So I think while he's healthy, pick him up, play him because I think he's going to be really good. He's a really,
Yep.
really good, versatile player that Washington needs. And I think I would rather have him. Would you rather have him or Dotson?
Oof. Oof.
It's close.
Samuel.
I think so too.
You know how pissed off Trevor's gonna be when he finds out we talked about Curtis Samuel without him?
Yeah, no. Uh, Trevor notably hates cheesecake but loves Curtis Samuel. So
Mhm.
it's kind of a give or take.
Do we like Curtis Samuel over Julio Jones?
I mm, I think so. I think I do. Do you?
I don't think so.
Oh, what you just asked that. I, again, you can't argue with 11 targets for Curtis Samuel last week. Do I think that's sustainable? No, but
I just don't trust Carson Wentz, man.
I know.
And I know, but Curtis Samuel's a guy they're going to get him the ball however they can, and we've seen that when he was in Carolina, and we've seen it before before this year when in Washington. Um, uh, yeah, I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go Julio Jones just because I
Okay.
like Brady more than I like Wentz. But does that mean Curtis Samuel doesn't see 10 more targets than Julio Jones? I don't know.
I just looked because I wanted to make sure. And right, Scott Turner, Norv Turner's son, still the offensive coordinator for Washington. He was there in Carolina when they drafted Curtis Samuel, and they used him really well there. So I would assume he has an obvious role in mind for him and only him, whereas Dotson is awesome player, but he can't do what Curtis Samuel does. So I think Samuel has a steady role kind of every week, and I'm high on Carson Wentz than most sane people are. So, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think I do like Samuel over Julio, but,
Yeah, and I
it's
don't
not a
know.
lot.
You're right. I was going to say I don't know there's that much difference between them.
Nope. Yeah, hey, would you trade Miles Sanders and Jalen Waddle for Javonte Williams? He already has Jerry Jeudy, Deontay Johnson, and Gabriel Davis, Josh Allen. I'm not in need of a running back since I have Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook. I'm going to do a little spoiler alert on your season. Since you do have Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, you're going to need a running back at
Yep,
some
you need
point.
a running back.
Yeah, be careful. But yeah, I think I would do that trade.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's a landslide either direction.
I feel like a lot of Javonte Williams' points came last week because he had 11 receptions, and we all know that Seattle likes to play that soft zone. I don't
Yeah.
know that Javonte Williams gets 11 receptions every single game the rest of the way.
And we as a show, as a company, have been lower on Javonte Williams than the rest of the industry because we've been higher on Melvin Gordon, at least in the opinion that Melvin Gordon has a role, and most people didn't think so. But even still, what's your opinion on Miles Sanders, who scored a touchdown for the first time since 2020?
I got sucked
Touchdown.
in. I got sucked into the Miles Sanders trap again this year.
I don't dislike him. I just,
He just he doesn't have the right role for fantasy football. I mean, once they get down to
yeah.
the 10-yard line, Jalen Hurts is running the ball in. All Miles Sanders fantasy owners are going to have that. Miles Sanders is going to be in the field, driving all the way down the field, and he gets taken out so they can spread it out and have Jalen Hurts run it in. It sucks, but the points you're getting from Miles Sanders are coming on yards this year.
And I still look at him and I think it's Ryan Matthews. So,
Yeah.
like, that's not his fault. I think I'm not going to say it's all on me, but it's at least a little bit on me. I'll take some of the blame for that. Yeah. Ryan Matthews.
Ryan Matthews on the Chargers. He should have been so much better than what he was.
So injury prone. Only one T in his last name. Lots of issues there.
He fumbled every single time they're at the 1-yard line.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was one of those guys who was on every one of my fantasy teams every year.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Zach Espinoza, Flurry Sports Raider, wants to know if he should drop Matthew Stafford. And he likes your Motley Crue shirt.
Thank you.
Again, it's so should you drop Matthew Stafford? How big a league for who? Like, am I nervous about Matthew Stafford? No.
So, at this point, you probably have Stafford in a 12-team league. I'm sure there's probably 6 to 8 quarterbacks on the waiver wire. Are any of them better than Matthew Stafford? Probably not.
Again, I'll have my rankings up tomorrow, and we'll be talking about it then. And I haven't even begun to think about this, but let's just throw this scenario out there. Would you start Matthew Stafford against the Falcons this week? Obviously, Stafford's had a longer week to prepare. Or would you start somebody like Kirk Cousins versus the Eagles? Maybe Derek Carr versus Derek Carr versus the Cardinals.
I think I like Stafford over both of them.
Me too. Roll with Stafford.
Yep.
We
got one more trade here from Yahoo.
Here we go. Too optimistic trying to trade Dalvin Cook, Jalen Waddle for Jonathan Taylor since the team who has him has CD Lamb and Elijah Moore.
I think it's going to be tough to get Jonathan Taylor.
I don't know, though. Like, I don't think it's too optimistic because you're talking, when did you draft Dalvin Cook? 6 or so.
Middle round.
Yeah, of round 1. And Jalen Waddle was a pretty early pick. Like, I don't think it's too optimistic. I think you could get it.
Yeah, do you want it, though?
I can't remember his team. His team was... He already has Jerry Jeudy, Deontay Johnson, Gabriel Davis. Deontay Johnson scares me. I'm not super high on Jerry Jeudy and Gabriel Davis. My thoughts are known. So I'm not sure if I'd do the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're trading 2 starters for Jonathan Taylor, which, yes, of course. But these are 2 top 4 round draft pick starters in Dalvin Cook and Jalen Waddle.
Right. Yeah, I think you could pull off the trade if you like it. I don't think it's a massive win either way. I think I personally would sit and wait and see what your team does.
Yep.
Um,
I think that might be one of those trades where if you do sit and wait and Jonathan Taylor has another good year, you just might have to accept the fact that he's probably not going to trade Jonathan Taylor
Agreed. Yeah, agreed for sure. Would you drop Chris Olave for Naheem Hines or Julio?
or Hines, Olave or Hines for Julio.
Yeah. Oh,
I wouldn't drop Hines. I don't think.
no, 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 no. Yeah, I wouldn't drop Hines.
Yeah,
Definitely Olave.
yeah.
Agreed. The Saints should drop Olave or trade him to the Packers.
Hmm.
Um, Zach Espinoza is talking about our league for Stafford. I don't
The
even.
replacement options are slim unless you want to trade.
I can't even imagine what my team is. I don't even. I can't even
Oh,
begin to think what my quarterbacks are.
is that our 2 quarterback league?
Yeah, it has to be. But
Oh,
that's the
it's
one where we drafted 3 kickers each. Like I don't fucking. That
that
was
one's
a
chaos.
yeah. That was a fever dream.
Hmm.
Um, I am Cup was offered Kyle Pitts, James Robinson, James Cook, and Amari Cooper for DJ Moore, Cam Akers, Alexander Madison. He was offered those players. He would be trading away DJ Moore, Akers, and Madison. If I'm wrong, let us know. That's how I'm interpreting it.
That's how I'm interpreting it as well.
I would take that trade,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Eh,
I think
I don't love James Cook.
I don't no, neither do I. Neither do I, and I think James Robinson's a flex.
I
Kyle
also don't love
Pitts,
Amari Cooper.
I don't like anybody in this trade. So
No.
like, but I don't mm, who are your running backs other than Akers and Madison? That would be my question. You're not trading for James Cook and hoping he is a flex or something better than a flex, I should say. And James Robinson, I think is James Robinson. His tight end currently is Noah Fant. So
Swift.
and he has Swift.
A lot of Swift tonight.
Yeah, there is. I would do the trade. I think I'm not saying it's a major win. Who are your wide receivers other than DJ Moore? Because I guess that would be the tiebreaker there.
Yeah. I would imagine someone good if he's getting Swift. Maybe like a Debo or Devontae or Tyreek Hill or something like that. Also, I guess we'll talk about Packers stuff tomorrow. But how fucking bullshit was it that they kept putting up Devontae Adams stats on the screen? Like, yeah, we know he's doing well.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us again. We
Yeah,
didn't want to trade him.
it was a live look in. That was so stupid.
Right.
Great. The Packers running backs are leading the team in receiving. We know.
As the team's fucking down 20-0. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Fox.
Yeah. Again, like I tweeted, I want everyone to say Derek Carr targeted Devontae Adams too much.
Mm-hmm.
They lost the game.
Mm-hmm.
He was too reliant on him.
Mm-hmm.
I am Cup has Stephon Diggs, Brandon Cooks, Gabriel Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Devontae Smith. So I think I would do the trade.
Yep.
Because I like the wide receivers.
How come nobody yelled at Stafford for targeting Calvin Johnson too much when they didn't even make the playoffs?
They didn't yell at him about targeting Cooper Kupp too much last year.
Right.
Like, it's just Aaron Rodgers. Like, he won his second MVP. Stop targeting Devontae Adams. If you're so good, stop throwing to him. That's so stupid. Such a dumb argument. Like, if you get to the core of it, like Devontae Adams has too many catches. If it was like a massive difference between targets and catches, then I understand. But they were completing passes.
The thing is, too, like, God forbid you give the best player on your team the ball.
No shit. Yeah. And now everyone's like, I wish Devontae was here. Like,
right.
Fuck you off, guys.
I know. I don't know if we're going to talk tight ends or if you had any written down, but I guess so I can just jumpstart this conversation. You had mentioned Keenan Allen's down. Josh Palmer probably figures to be somewhat of the guy to carry some of that share. Gerald Everett do anything to you?
Yeah, he's the first one I wrote down, actually. Yeah. Playing in Kansas City, sleeper fantasy ownership is at 43. I think it's probably lower on other sites. I like Gerald Everett. Donald Parham, the tight end 2, also sounds like he's going to miss the game again. So Everett's like the clear every down tight end guy there. He's a good receiver. He's going to be targeted in the red zone, which I think is big because I don't trust Mike Williams to have the route running to get free. And obviously that's what Keenan Allen, the loss of Keenan Allen is missing, that guy who can get open wherever. At least Gerald Everett can get open down there. So I like him quite a bit. He's probably there's a good chance he's second on the team in targets, if not third.
Yeah, for sure. I love the Chiefs on Thursday, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. That's a fun game to start Thursday off on.
It is.
I've already been making like fantasy lineups, staying up too late trying to look at those. I'm excited for it. Mason wants to know, should I stick with Joe Burrow and Chase, or should I trade Jalen Hurts and have that stack with AJ Brown?
So he's Burrow or Chase? Burrow and Chase, or Hurts and Brown is basically the question here, right?
It's just Burrow or Hurts, I think, because he already has Chase and Brown, right?
So he wants a stack. Which stack would you want more? Right?
This isn't DFS. I think this is like he likes the idea of having a stack, but he already has
right. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I put zero value into a stack in season long, just to be transparent. I don't really care. It's just best ball or DFS for me, and I would still though rather have Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow. So,
yep,
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts, but I don't care about the stack personally. What stack is better?
Yeah. I mean, in a vacuum, Burrow and Chase is better than Hurts and Brown, but
Hurts and
Chase and Brown is the answer to your question there.
Right. Yeah. If it's DFS and you're doing a stack, I want Burrow and Chase. But if you're just talking about most points week to week, that's what I want. I want Hurts, most consistent quarterback in fantasy, and now he has a passing game.
Yep. Hurts, Chase, and Brown is what our answer is.
Yes. Other tight ends that I wrote down were Hayden Hurst, who is another guy I was high on to start the year. Again, I don't think it's going to be a consistent role in Cincinnati, but T. Higgins got concussed. So, targets need to go somewhere, like Hayden Hurst at Dallas. Logan Thomas. Yeah.
I wanted to bring up Tyler Boyd for wide receiver for that reason.
Yeah. That one, I couldn't figure out what his ownership was because we were talking about sleeper being super weird. So if he's out there, definitely pick him up.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Logan Thomas, we talked about already. He's not owned in a lot of leagues. He plays Detroit. That's a revenge game, kind of, I guess. So I like him this week. And then Robert Tonyan, I thought looked good.
Okay.
So I think you can pick him up.
All of those tight ends you would rather have than Hunter Henry. Does Mac Jones' back problem scare you off at all of Hunter Henry?
No, I'm not scared of Mac Jones' back at all. But I'm scared of Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, I forget he's there.
So did the Patriots last year. I'm looking for some sort of consistency, and I don't think Hunter Henry's going to give that to me.
I know. Hunter Henry should be so good, man. He's just not.
No, yeah. Jonnu Smith should be really good too, and he's also not.
Right.
Which, that's kind of what the Patriots are saying after they paid them so much money. I like Gerald Everett, though. I think I would for sure rather have him. The other three, I don't necessarily want to pick up and start right away if I can keep them on my bench to see how they progress, especially Logan Thomas, Robert Tonyan. Because I think Robert Tonyan could have a massive role in like 3 weeks.
I also think, another one, too, is I think Albert O has a role, too.
Yeah. Albert O.
I don't know what his ownership is at, but
higher than these guys, but still not high enough.
Yeah, okay.
The entire draft process, I was surprised at how low he was going.
Yep.
Because he's a tight end. He's like a top 12 tight end for me.
So many tight ends scored touchdowns last night that were not Albert O or Noah Fant.
Yeah. I think it was Seattle had 3 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts this week or something I saw. I like Will Dissly, man. I fucking love Will Dissly.
He's another guy who somehow always ends up on my team.
Yeah, he shouldn't be catching touchdowns like that though.
God no.
What are we doing? Uh, other sleeper tight ends,
Do
Zach
sleeper tight ends
Espinoza.
exist? If we're being honest,
Probably no. I think streamer tight ends exist.
streamers, yes.
I think you can stream them, but yeah, in terms of week to week consistency, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think you're picking up a tight end to win your league on the waiver wire this week.
No, 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 no. Sleeper tight ends, like watch how Jelani Woods progresses in Indianapolis. See
Do
what they
you?
do with Kyle Rudolph in Tampa. I think
Yeah.
he's really good.
Do you buy any stock into Irv Smith not playing well, or is that just because Justin Jefferson was just incredible?
Mostly Justin Jefferson. I also just don't think I think the switch to the Kevin O'Connell offense hurts Irv Smith though.
Okay.
Everyone is talking about him as like the ultimate sleeper guy, and I just don't think that's what he is. I think
Yeah.
he's a good player, but I don't think he is going to be that guy for fantasy.
Yeah.
Um, let me see what the Giants did this week in terms of snap counts at tight end because I like their rookie Bellinger, I believe his name is.
You know what's gonna
Let me,
suck if like Kirk Cousins just comes out and dominates the league because he had a good game against the Packers week 1.
yeah, he's feeling himself a little bit.
Packers unleashed Kirk Cousins.
That would be unfortunate. Um, Giants were a little annoying with their tight ends. It looks like. Daniel Bellinger, the rookie who I said I like, played the most snaps out of them. He played 29 of 61 snaps, and 20 of the 29 snaps were running plays. So he pass blocked on 2 of them. So he ran 7 routes the entire game. Watch him because if he's a good run blocker and he progresses in the passing game, then he's an every down tight end. He's a guy to watch, I
Hmm.
would say. I think he's a really good sleeper. And if you're playing Dynasty, I do like him a lot.
Yep.
Otherwise, I mean,
I had
it's the
one that
Giants.
I was going to ask you about. Likely for Baltimore.
Ooh, I like him a lot. What did they do? Let me look at their snap counts because obviously not a
Yeah.
big week 1, but they also played the Jets.
Yeah.
That entire game, Baltimore played so slow.
Yep.
And I was just staring at Joe Flacco wearing number 19. I hated it.
It's so bad.
Likely played 25 out of the 56 snaps, so nearly half the game, which is pretty good. He's a great player. He is like the only handcuffed tight end possibly in the NFL. Like if you have
Yeah.
Mark Andrews and if Mark Andrews goes down, you need to have Isaiah Likely.
Yeah. I think I agree.
He would be vaulted into probably a top 5 tight end for me.
Yep.
Close to it.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Yeah. Interesting. How many snaps did Duvernay played 29 of 56. Rashad Bateman 37 of 56. So they kind of split them pretty evenly, except for Mark Andrews, who played
Yeah.
47 of 56.
Am I remembering that right? Or does Mark Andrews have has he had injury problems in his career?
He has diabetes.
Oh,
I don't think he has injuries.
okay. Must be a different Mark Andrews I'm thinking
Maybe. Who knows?
about.
Cameron Braid has had the most interesting career, started to backup to starter, and also paid major money to do all of it too.
Mm-hmm. Can't
So
envy him. I
agreed.
mean, you can envy him.
True. Randy wants to know. Thank you, Randy. Are there any foods you would replace on your food lineup? Replace in terms of like past shows? I've been thinking of the underrated food question a lot, and for whatever reason, you saying cherries makes me want to go get cherries, but then I'm like,
They're so good.
but
They're
I'm
so
like,
good when you have them.
but I'm like, that has to be it because I keep being like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really in the mood for cherries
No, you're
though.
never in the mood for cherries, but they're great when you have them.
Intriguing.
Mm-hmm. Circus peanuts are underrated.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All I hear is
But
bad things about them, and they're so good.
They're irrelevant to me. They are
My favorite
shock
candy of all
absorbers.
time.
You've said that. I don't
They're
get it.
so good. The banana flavor is so good.
Do they? There's a specific banana flavor, or they all taste like
Nope,
banana?
they're all the orange ones are banana flavored.
Really?
Mhm.
Is that known?
I don't think so, but it is.
Really? I'm never gonna know because I'm not gonna get any circus
No,
peanuts
no,
to
no. I
find
mean,
out.
like people don't know that, but the answer, yes, it is banana flavoring. Like they have it on the packaging.
Really?
Mhm.
That's weird. Why don't they make it like peanut butter flavored? Wouldn't that make sense if it's a peanut?
No, because it's not circus.
Bananas are.
Chaotic at the circus.
I guess. Fair enough.
I love circuses and fairs, by the way.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
food is incredible.
I don't
Fair
remember the
food,
last time I've been to a circus. Fair food's good, yeah.
yeah,
Circus, I don't know.
yeah,
Zach says lemons
yep,
are underrated. We talked about that before too. I
that's
agree.
right. Lemons on everything too. Like all form of lemon is good.
Yes. Very good. Very good. I also like a good tangerine, but you're like living in Wisconsin, you're gonna get like 20 bad ones before you get a good one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Thoughts on trade question? Did you have a trade question in there?
Oh yeah, he does.
My bad.
What do you think of AJ Brown and Tyler Boyd for JJ? I'm gonna guess Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I would assume so. AJ Brown and Boyd for Justin Jefferson. Side getting Boyd has Higgins out.
I don't
Yeah.
think that they would accept that trade, but yeah, try it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're super thin at wide receivers and they just need to fill that wide receiver too. So, yeah, I like
Yeah,
it. I would rather have Justin Jefferson. So if you can do it, go for it.
yeah. Justin Jefferson's such a stud.
Very good at football.
We're gonna have to deal with that for like the next 15 years too.
He's no Cooper Cup.
Fucking hate Greg Olson, man. Like I love Greg Olson, but he's just a horrible announcer.
He's just annoying. I think he's an okay announcer. He's just annoying. Just
No.
I'm wrong here. What I'm about to say, I'm wrong. But there's multiple announcers where I'm just like, stop talking. But that's their job. Like I just want silence. Stop
Yeah.
talking for a second, please.
Yeah.
He fills every dead air with a stupid comment.
And Kevin Burkhardt's not great either.
I don't mind Kevin. I do like Kevin Burkhardt. They're doing the
Okay.
Super Bowl this year, I
Oh
believe.
God.
So get ready for that.
How can the Super Bowl just not always be Kevin Harlan?
Agreed. Yeah. They should just tag him in for like every big
Yeah.
event.
Every single championship, whatever, it should be Kevin Harlan.
Let Wayne Larrivee go in there too. He's the golden voice.
I do not like Tony Romo or Chris Collinsworth
No.
or Booger McFarland. I think that was supposed to be a joke.
Get Booger in there. Get him on the Booger Mobile everywhere. So just let him travel across America on the Booger Mobile.
I mean, just how long is it going to? I guess Tom Brady's still playing, but like Brady and Manning in the booth and Eli on the sideline is the combination that will dominate the NFL for years to come.
I think they were really hoping Brady was going to retire and commentate the Super Bowl for Fox this year.
Yep.
And they were pissed when they're like, we got to go with Greg Olson now. What a downgrade.
Was Aqib Talib on this weekend? I didn't see him at all.
No, I think something bad happened with his family and he stepped away. I think his brother got shot or something.
That sucks.
Yeah, I like Aqib.
Aqib's great on the mic.
Mm-hmm. Would Giselle be happy? Probably not. What a bitch.
Right.
That's why Tom Brady came back to football. Had to get out of the house. Anything else?
Do you have any
you wanna talk
predictions
about?
for Dallas quarterbacks? Are we going to see Cooper Rush again?
It sounds like Jerry's just going to roll with them if he thinks Dak's going to be back. However, what I thought of, like, I don't think it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. I could see them trading with the Saints to get Andy Dalton back.
Get Andy back. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Like, if there's one person who is going to get killed behind that offensive line, let Andy Dalton do it again.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it once. Yeah, he is great at that.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a lot of sense to me. I'd love to see Mike White even though I'd kind of have to cheer for him, which is unfortunate. But I'd
No,
love to
Mike
see
White's
Mike.
great.
Yeah, let him go. Let him cook.
David Blau.
Please, I'm for that. Let him get killed. Fuck that dude. Worst quarterback in the NFL.
How is it possible that I'm sorry, just speaking on bad players, how is it possible that Equanimeous St. Brown has as many touchdowns this year as he did in his Packers career?
Because they used him. And he's healthy. So how did he finish that game unhurt?
I know, that's wild.
That's I don't get it. Good for him. That one trade, the other guy's thinking Justin Jefferson and Fournette for AJ Brown, Najee, and Boyd. I wouldn't mind that. I would
No.
still do it, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Leonard Fournette. Based on what you've seen, what you've heard, whatever, is he a RB2 the whole year? Does he ever vault into RB1 territory?
Uh Not consistently, I don't think. But he's
Yeah.
gonna have those games where every Patriots running back has where he has 2, 3 rushing touchdowns or whatever.
Mhm.
But I think he's a steady RB2.
I know that Rashad White's there, but Fournette just feels like the only one there at Tampa to kind of change pace of Brady throwing.
Yeah, once Brady trusts Rashad White in pass protection, I think he gets a little bit more work.
Mhm.
But we shall see. Thoughts on Kenny Galladay? Kenny Galladay predictions. I don't mind him.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think he is getting so much shit simply because he's overpaid,
Yeah.
which can't blame him for that. So, last week he played 46 of the 61 snaps. Sterling Shepard looked good. He played 43 snaps. You know, he's going to get hurt any second. So, Kenny Galladay would be playing a little bit more. Like I think he could end up settling around being like a wide receiver 3-4 this year
Yeah.
if that offense starts to click a little bit.
Mhm.
This is Chasen. Ask your question and we'll give you trade advice. That might be the thing we go out on here. If you're still here, let us know what it is. And if anyone here has any other last second questions, let us know. We'll be answering them, then getting out of here tomorrow. Same time, so 7 p.m. Central is the Fantasy Football Rankings Show. I will have my rankings for PPR and half PPR. You can find those on flurrysports.org. We will be going through them, comparing them to the rest of the Fantasy Pros experts, the industry consensus to see where we are higher or lower than the rest of the industry and answering your questions, talking through that. Immediately after that, around 8 p.m. Central, we have Lombardi Sweep, which is our Packers podcast. And Luke and myself are on both of those shows tomorrow. Trade question here. Seems like a no-brainer. He gets Jamar Chase to get Fournette and Bateman.
Chase.
I don't think it's a no-brainer. He has no other running backs for an RB2 except for James Robinson. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Then no.
I think it's hard because I'm not sure if we can really truly grade most of the Ravens on week 1.
Yep.
Because I
I
think
don't think you
Rashad
can.
Bateman should be more involved.
Yeah, I don't think you can grade the Ravens until J.K. Dobbins comes back.
True. That's true.
You got Jonathan Taylor as RB1.
Which is good, but yeah, again, I'm not sure if
Yep.
I want to trust James Robinson as RB2.
Yep.
And I like Bateman, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think Fournette is a significant upgrade over Robinson. So yeah, if you can get somebody, I don't know,
Is there?
if you can get another good receiver and somehow, or at least get another running back in return, doing that
Yeah.
trade, Jamar Chase and
I
let's
think
say
like someone
even Melvin
between.
Gordon.
I was gonna say someone between like a Fournette and Robinson, maybe a little bit more towards Robinson.
He has CeeDee Lamb, which is why he's looking for a receiver. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's going to have a better game with whoever next week, I think, than he had week 1.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. They're just going to force feed him the ball.
Yep.
So I don't think you need to panic and try to get somebody. I understand the panic because you don't know who's going to be throwing to him. But this week's tough because they play Tampa. But, tis what it is.
I have a little teaser that we can go out on. Tomorrow we can talk about it, but I think I'm all in on Christian Kirk.
Yeah. And more importantly, I think the Jaguars are too.
Yep.
Yeah. They paid him. They used him. We kept saying they have to use him if they pay him. And they so far so good, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Him and Clyde, I'm all in on.
Yeah, I still like Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
He'd have CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, and Taylor, just no RB2. So, I mean, here's the question then, I guess. Again, I wouldn't do the trade right now. I would wait until after waivers process. Maybe he gets Jeff Wilson off waivers. Would you do it then?
Yeah, but what's Jeff? How Elijah Mitchell's out a while, isn't he?
Yeah, I think
I would
possibly
do
like
it
2
then.
months.
I think you'd pick up Jeff Wilson and the rookie from San Francisco. I think pick them both up and then do the trade.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Really quick, just going through these, and he also has McLaurin and Cooper on the bench. I would just be trying to package some wide receivers in and get another running back in return.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely have that waiver claim in for Wilson. Zach Espinoza, first question for tomorrow. Why do the Jags have to go with Kirk, but the Giants haven't gone to Galladay?
Jags are a better team.
Jags are a better team. I mean, I think the Giants have more legitimate weapons. Galladay's also a big outside receiver who's kind of slow. Kirk's a speedy little slot guy who can easily get open. So just easier throws to Kirk.
Also, you would know this more than I would, but when Justin Jefferson was coming out of the draft, were people actually referring to him as a slot guy? I don't remember that whatsoever.
I think some people were, but that's been overblown now.
Yeah.
Like now the take is everyone was so wrong on Justin Jefferson.
Right.
And at least from my memory, like we were all like, Justin Jefferson's a dude.
Yeah. I think the only people who were wrong on Justin Jefferson were the Eagles.
It's true. Yeah. Probably.
You know what's funny about that is the Vikings ended up with Jalen Reagor too.
Right. Yeah. Like I think it was like, like a Todd McShay or somebody who was like, he's only played in the slot and this and that. So it wasn't like a legitimate voice to anything.
I'm sure Justin Jefferson's playing all over the field too in college when Jamar Chase is on your team.
Yeah. It's whatever. If that's what it takes for Justin Jefferson to motivate himself, then that's
more
fine.
power to him.
I just wish it wasn't week 1 against the Packers.
I think I mentioned this before, but that Clemson LSU championship game, if you go back and watch that, there is so much NFL talent in that game.
It's insane. Yeah.
Like all 44 starters, and I'm not going to say they're all NFL players, but
it's close.
Probably a high majority of them are in the NFL right now.
Yeah. And the backups, the freshman players, everything. That's one of my favorite things, to go back and like watch, like let's just say when maybe is Monty Ball or whatever is playing for the Badgers, then you get the Melvin Gordon coming in for like one carry and is electric. Like, oh, they'll see if he has anything with freshman Melvin Gordon. Like to see those type of people like who are playing for the very first time, it's always fun to watch.
Like that Badgers Oregon Rose Bowl when D'Anthony Thomas had like 3 carries for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
His freshman year's first game.
Badgers didn't know they made people that fast.
Right.
Wasn't fair. Badgers also made Justin Herbert in another Rose Bowl look like Lamar Jackson. So, Sup, Mr. Nick. If you have a quick question, let us know. Otherwise, we're about to hop off here.
Just to go back and watching those games with the backups, it's so funny going back and watching that Kentucky team with Devin Booker coming off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. Those Kentucky teams too. That was like everyone on those teams is
every single player.
That was wild. That was a wild time.
And they got 1 championship out of it.
Yeah, like the Badger teams that beat them had fucking Frank Kaminsky and
Mhm.
Nigel Hayes. Like,
No business winning that game.
no, 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 not at all. Fucking the Badgers were the rejects of the tournament that year.
Mhm.
Yeah, freaking Nigel Hayes hitting on the stenographer or whatever they're called, and
The
yeah,
Badgers, they were like the cute story, like, "Oh, those white guys, look how good they're playing.
yeah,
There's no way they're gonna make it, but it's a good story."
yeah. And then they get fucked by Duke.
Right,
Great,
fucking
and the
fuck
refs
fuck you, Justice Winslow.
for sure. Legitimately, screw that dude.
Mhm.
But yeah, everyone on YouTube, subscribe. Hit the bell so you're notified for our future streams. If you are on YouTube, go to the description. We have a link in there for Sleeper Fantasy. We will be giving probably Sleeper Fantasy or Prize Picks tomorrow, but you can play over under picks on Sleeper Fantasy now. You can string a bunch of picks together and win like up to 10 times your money. And if you click that link right now, Sleeper Fantasy is doing a 100% deposit match up to 100. So if you go, deposit $20, you get a bonus $20, and then you can make a bunch of money. We'll be giving some picks tomorrow. Really quick, Hari, thoughts on Julio Jones? We like Julio Jones, especially with Chris Godwin out. Tanja, last guy. I traded Dallas Goddard and James Robinson for Mark Andrews. His RBs are Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Um,
I
yeah,
think you won.
yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
You essentially just upgrade Dallas Goddard to Mark Andrews and
That's
James.
another
Yeah,
trade where you use a bench piece to upgrade a position.
yeah, exactly. You weren't going to play James Robinson anyway. So yeah, but yeah, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m.
Peace.
Central. See ya.